term is unclassed, but it is for any practical purpose, it is a community forest. So our intervention is in the community, is in the unclassed forest areas, which is actually the community forest. Every village has a residential area, the habitat area, and then they have the forest area. So these are all demarcated. And for rejuvenation of the forest, the project does what we call mixed plantation, and we do ANR, gap filling. Then we have the riparian plantation, that is to protect rivers from erosion and things like that. But all these things we follow process called FPIC, free prior informed consent from the community. Without that, we don't get into doing any activities. That is to create ownership and sustainability. Then we also follow EPSMF, Environment and Social Management Framework, which is one of the compliances required to ensure that what we do not harm the society or the environment. So this is how the project operates, and what kind of land we operate in, and all the treatment that we do are in unclassed forest, which is basically, I will not even say unclassed forest anymore. I would say community forest area. Now, if we do afforestation and we do afforestation, we have to have the environment in our site, then we have to have the people in the site. We do a lot of afforestation and ask people not to come in there, not to cut, not to enter. Just do that, and then we don't take care of their well-being. Then again, that will be again lopsided, because our interventions are for the environment and for the people. Therefore, we have a very strong, well-formulated livelihood improvement strategy, which should increase the resilience of the community we're working with. In a vulnerable society, women are much more vulnerable. In any vulnerable society, women are much more vulnerable. Therefore, we work with the women group, and luckily, Government of India allowed us to form self-help group. At some point of time, when we were preparing NERCOM 3, they did not allow us to form SAG. They said this is now the subject of National Reliability Mission, but then this project, Government of India allowed the state government to form self-help group. So self-help groups, the investment in self-help group is basically to reduce the vulnerability of the people, and also reduce the treasury of the women folk. Therefore, there is a format we follow. We have what we call a livelihood improvement plan, which factor in a lot of livelihood improvement, a lot of income generating activities, and how and help the community to face difficulties due to erratic rainfall or rising temperature and pest infestation and all that. So we have that, and this is a totally bottom-up and participatory planning. So we have that LIP, and then we also have what we call water resource conservation groups, which is an all-inclusive group. Every household is represented by the wife and husband, a female and male household member of every household represents the WRCG, and this is more of planning and implementation of the afforestation activities in the village, and they work more or less like a subcommittee of the village authority. We form this with the permission of the village authority, only without the village authority, and also to sustain this kind of activity, we are engaging the village authority to later on take them on as a subcommittee of the village authority in a more formal manner. Then areas, in dense forest areas, we do forest area closure. Forest area closure is like what we did in Aircom, a community conserve area, where there's a governance methodology, governance principles, how to find, what to find, what to find, what items to be taken out, what items not to be taken out, what seasons to go in, what seasons to avoid to go into the forest area. So this has resulted in, an amazing thing. During the last Ban Mahotsav, the project was awarded, recognized by the Forest Department for doing this, and then in one of the villages, some animals which were long not seen returned, slow lorries, but clearly they have a habitat across the hills in Jiribam area, but then we spotted that in one of the forest area closer in Sopor, not very far away from Impal Valley, as you climb up. So these kind of things are happening because of project intervention, and I'll just close by, there are many things that I'd like to talk about, but I'll just close by mentioning two things. One is two or three things that are emerging as key achievement of the project. Is one is the spring rejuvenation program, which is bearing fruit, and then at a strategy and a policy advocacy level, because of the project intervention, project has brought about what we call interdepartmental roundtable for spring set management. So this roundtable will saturate the entire state, rejuvenating all the springs in the state, and then we will also try to engage with other states so that we can have a notice platform where we can discuss. Thank you so much. Sorry, I need one more minute.
Thank you, Mr. Rishikesh Singh. May I invite, we'll go to Meghalaya now. Rodonal Majao, who is the Regional Project Manager of Meghalaya Basin Development Agency, and also he looks after all of the action-related projects funded by IFAD, JICA, and KFW.
Very good morning to everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers for giving MDMA this opportunity to share with you the learnings from the externally aided projects. So I'm actually looking into Meghalaya, which is an IFAD funded project. But for the course of the discussion, I would like to also bring into the learnings which I also have with the ADB project, which is in the pipeline, so in the design stage, which will be, I think, will be very helpful for the discussion later. But before we start, I, like all Meghalayans, we all love to tell stories, so I'd like to tell you about a real event story which happened during the implementation of projects under NDMA. As soon as I was inducted in NDMA, there was a project of construction of farmers market, which is an NEC funded project. So the process was, and the UI was floated. Applicants can apply for the farmers market, and in the application they should submit all the land documents, and on which by the evaluation committees, screening committee of applications, and the applications were approved. In the place which I was looking, there was one of the SHG which got the application approved, and the construction was supposed to start, and the contractor came with the excavator to start excavating. But Unfortunately, it was excavating problems instead of excavating for the construction. The problem started with the SHG members itself. Some of the SHG members were saying that the decision for selection of the land was not taken with the SHG. Some members some of the SHGs members were saying that the land was selected only by the secretary and not the whole SHG were informed about the selection. So that started a series of events that made the project completion very difficult. It was like a Netflix series coming season after season, and it was continuing for 3 to 4 years. However, I think since we started also implementation of Meghalaya also had one of the objectives is to set up farmers market and to also converge with the existing NEC funded markets. So what we did was we formed the farmers market promotion committee, management committee under Meghalaya, where we started mobilizing 4 to 5 villages which are in the vicinity of the project, NEC's funded project. All these vendors came. Then we started involving the cooperative society which we formed under the project, the members of the cooperative society. Then we also asked the farmers, the lead farmers who were producing a lot of crops at that time to also be for a part of the committee, and also the SHG members. And most importantly, because land in Meghalaya is owned by clans, and also with the recent years development, it is also owned by individual people. So all these members, the landowners which have land, these 4 to 5 years were in the committee, and through consultations, rigorous consultations that we had with the committee came out with a suitable land which is 10 times better than what was selected before, and it has led to the start of the project. And now even LAM, because we are converging, LAM is constructing the other structures which supplements the project, like the slaughterhouse, the crèche, and the godowns, which will supplement the farmers market from NEC. So LAM has a procedure to start the construction, which we call the CCAP. Under the CCAP, all these process of consultations will have to be completed before awarding the contracts. So that is just a story which I want to narrate, and I will relate it to whatever I'm going to present. Just moving fast. Meghalaya is a 500 project. We have 3 main components we're working on: integrated natural resource management, rural finance, and inclusive supply chain and enterprise development. The major activities of this project, I should say, was the formation of the integrated cooperative societies, producer groups, farmers market committees, and the INRM committees. We also set up infrastructures like prime hubs. These are big infrastructures, which are, we also have collective marketing centers, farmers market, and large processing units, advanced processing units. We also have NRM and other climate adaptive interventions, which we implemented through the INRM plans prepared by the NRM committees. And we also have entrepreneurship, skilling, technology, and market linkage. I'll just also add to what we had in the design stage for DB. So the EDP is actually the Integrated Ecotourism Sustainable Agri-Livelihood Project, which is tourism linked with agriculture. So in this, we are planning to form large agriculture production clusters, promote climate resilient and sustainable farming through the cooperatives, cooperative-based aggregation and marketing, post-harvest processing and value addition, and marketing and private sector linkages. So out of these experiences, I would like to put in 3 or 4 pillars of actually how we navigate the land tenure system in the implementation of the activities under these projects. So one of the main pillars is the community-based institutions. So under LAM, the main pillar was the cooperative societies, the integrated cooperative societies. We form about 500 integrated cooperative societies in the project. These cooperatives act as the special purpose vehicles to implement activities in the field. We also form NRM committees, which implements the activities that are primarily integrated natural resource management plans. And these agreements that were signed for land, for usage of land, for any activity and data project was signed between the special purpose vehicle and the owning clan or individual or a community, not the project directly. The project acts as a mediator or a co-signer of the agreements. And it also ensures the custodian, this system ensures the custodian, community custodian and project sustainability. The second pillar is the consultation, like what the first panelists have also said. The free, prior, informed and consent, the FPIC, was conducted. This is not a one-time program process. It is a series of consultations which we have with people so that the people can have a informed consent. Also, we also have the broad community support, which after the people have selected a certain area for implementation, we call the whole village and tell them about the project and ask for the support, and also if they are objecting to the project. In this, we will involve a lot of women, youth, absentees, hires, because we also face a lot of problems when, for example, if the agreement was signed by the parents, the hires, the daughters and all will later come up and object to the project. But in the process, we've learned this, and in all the FPIC that we are conducting, we call all the family members of the donor land who donated the land for projects. Then we do social mapping and also the GPS mapping of these lands to avoid disputes later on. And we sign renewable land use agreements. So these land use agreements will depend on the term of the project implementation and the cycle of the project that we are implementing. Suppose it is a plantation project, we estimate the cycle of the plantation till what stage the plantation will give a profit for the project and sign. No land acquisition decisions are going to be informed and documented. And the most important innovation that we have done through LAM is the CPPP model. Under Meghalaya, no private entity from outside can own land and start an enterprise. So we introduced this CPPP model where a community, public and private partnership is envisaged. So the cooperatives will be the owners of any enterprise that has been set up. The public, which is the government or the EAP, will fund the structure and the machinery for the unit. The private entity here comes in with the technology, the quality standard and market linkages. And this ensures profit sharing. So the private entity with the community, which here will be the cooperatives which we have formed, will come into an agreement for profit sharing and local variable integration and climate smart communities. And we ensure that equity and representation in each and every committees and every project that we face. Though it's written here 30%, but now we're trying to push for a 50% representation in the membership of women and other vulnerable communities, land and youths. Cooperatives and cluster-based production for fair market, resilience is equal. So landlords and tenants were involved in mostly the processing unit so that they can get employed. So I just got to also add another intervention which we learned from the earlier project which Sir has mentioned. We have livelihood improvement projects for the Himalayas. There's a system of land bank where the project procures a certain part of land and allows it, and the committee that has been formed allows it to the landless people to start the cultivation. This land bank concept has also been adopted by the Khasi Hills and Autonomous District Council and enacted as a law. So this is a few of the expenses that I'm going to share. We have a lot of expenses, but these are the most prominent ones that will relate to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mazrao, for sharing your experiences from Meghalaya Livelihood and Access to Market project funded by EFAD. We will now go to Nagaland and invite Mr. Supongnoksi Ao, who is the Chief Conservator of Forest and State Nodal Officer for Climate Change and State Biodiversity Board, Member Secretary State Biodiversity Board. He is also the Project Director of KFW funded project.
I will just try to go through a brief of what we are doing in the project. In our state, Nagaland, we have a number of externally aided projects under the natural resource management sector. One is a IFAD project, which is completed now. And the other is the JICA project, which started in 2017. And this is the third project, the Forest and Biodiversity Management, which is a KFW funded project. And then we have another project which is coming up called as the World Bank project, Element project. So a number of externally aided projects are being implemented in the state. And today I would like to focus more on this particular KFW project because I head the project as a project director. And with my experiences, we have been asked to focus on some particular specifics of the projects. So during time of my sharing about a project implementation, I'll be touching upon this also. This is a project which is a grant aid, and it is not a very big project as compared to many of the other projects that are being undertaken in the Northeast. One of the smallest, I should say. It's just a 6.5 million grant aid. And here, we are focusing on some particular aspects of the project because the land tenure system as well as the conservation activities that we have undertaken in our state, it's a little, maybe a little different from many of the other, mainly part of India as well as some of the northeastern part because there are differences in the management of land and its associated practices. I hope this is okay. This is just a profile of the project. I'll just skip and go through it quickly. We have a lot of community conservation areas in our state. The tenureship and land ownership is that the more than 90% of the total geographical area as well as the forest area, it belongs to the community and the clan as well as the family and the individual. So state government, we own and control over just a little around 5%, and the rest are all either community land, clan land, or individually owned land. So in such a situation, we have been trying to implement many of the projects in collaboration with the community as well as with the individual land owners also in many cases. So here, our project, this project tries to consolidate those individually owned community conservation areas. We have a long history of community conserved forest areas in our state, but one of the aspects of this is it is, in many cases, they are not conserved at the larger level, landscape level, because each community, each village is a federal unit and we function very independently of the other. So in such a system, the conserved areas are more or less scattered here and there. So there is not much of a continuity in many cases. So this project aims to consolidate those scattered community conserved forest areas at the larger level of connectivity. So this is one of the aim of the project, and we have 5 districts involved in that. 64 villages are there, and we are now in our midterm. We will be finishing the project by 2027, and we just completed our midterm review of the project. So that is just the overview of the project. As you can see here, yeah, this is how we have consolidated the project area at the landscape level, at the larger level. So we are taking each of these landscape as a unit, as a theme for implementing particular specific activity. Say for example, in one of the landscape, we have taken the stream. We are conserving the streamscape. And in one of the landscape, we are looking into the human-animal conflict aspect, how we can solve those problems. And one of the landscape, you'll find that it is biodiversity national heritage area, conservation area. So like that, all different themes. There are 7 themes here, and each has its own unique characteristics, which we are looking into. This is just the cost and the financing. As always, we have the stage here. This is the project objectives, conservation planning, how we are going to manage and plan it out. And these are the themes which I have just discussed. This is just the institutional level only. At the village level, we have the CCI committee level, which includes members from the village council, the biodiversity management council, and community reserves are also there. The women and the youth participants are also included in the project implementation group. That is the most important village level institutional structure. Just an update. We first started with a financial participatory approach where the activities that the villagers wants to implement is taken out in the form of a competition. It's a small financial competition is given so that all the ideas can be put in place, whatever the villagers, whatever the youths, the women, everyone can participate, and this is something which was, I should say, has brought a lot of cooperation between the village and the project implementers. This is something which is very unique in the sense it was for the first time the KFW has started this implementation, the financial participatory approach, the competition approach in India. And Nagaland happens to be the first to have implemented this, and the other states like Meghalaya and others, they are also coming up with this. And I find that the ownership of the project where this competition had been initiated, the ownership of the project by the community happens to be more in such an instance. That is what we have come across, and it is a learning because they are projecting their ideas, they are coming up with their own ideas, and when their ideas are recognized and implemented in their community, in their village, then that sense of ownership had been developed. And they happen to take more rather active participation on the part of the community. So this is one very positive aspect of the project implementation, whereby all the 64 villages, they have identified their wants and needs that this has to be done in the village, and through a competitive institutionalized competition was there. And the judges were also from their own community only, and the best winning entries, the activity of the best winning entries had been implemented. So that is how the sense of ownership had been more in this project as compared to the other projects that we have come across and experienced. So that is one very positive thing. This is just the overview. We happen to have the privilege of the Meghalaya team also visiting Nagaland for learning the financial participatory approach. Yeah, this is how we did. The storytelling was there, the children were involved initially, and then storytelling and all these activities were done, and this was done for all the 64 villages. We had started with the preparation of the People's Biodiversity Register also, which is a huge document where we are documenting all the resources, the plants and the animals and the traditional knowledge. This is under the guideline of the NBA, under the Biological Diversity Rules of 2002. These are some of the infrastructures that have been developed. This is, in fact, on the basis of the financial participatory approach, whatever the villagers wanted. At the level of the landscape, we are doing with the conservation, and the conservation measures like management plans are being undertaken, and all this, we have a lot of different partners also like the Wildlife Institute of India is there, Nagaland Bioresource Mission is there for the livelihood implementation and all. And under the livelihood, we have taken a lot of activities which are gender specific also. We have at the CCL level committee, at the village level committee, we have 25% of the members are women. And the level of women's participation, the gender participation in a project had been more pronounced with the financial participatory approach, because our customary system is such that in the village, at the village level, at the larger level of the village institution, in many cases the woman participation is not allowed. The village council, when there is a meeting of the village council at the administrative level and all, the woman participation is not allowed. And many of the decisions which are related to the land and the forest and management and all these are all, the male-centric council. And in this case, when the financial participatory approach was there, everyone was allowed. It was an open entry, and there were many participation from the gender perspective also. So many of the entries from the woman regarding the decision on how to manage income days was also taken into consideration, and many of the activities which have been suggested and put forward by the woman also had been implemented in the project, which I feel is a very welcoming progresses when it comes to implementation of ideas and knowledges when it comes to gender role and specification. So this is something which can be shared about the learnings from this. Whereas in a traditional system of governance, the women are not allowed to participate in the decision making at the overall general village administration. So that is one thing when it comes to inclusivity and equity in implementation. And see, this is where we have taken into WII, the Wildlife Institute of India. These are some of the livelihood activities. So here, let me go back to this. Okay, when it comes to the conservation, I'm talking about the sustainability of the project areas, sustainability of the conservation areas. We are coming up with a funding pattern called as Conservation Fund. Our project, we will be ending it by 2027. And after the project ends, we have been thinking about how to sustain it further on. So we are coming up with a funding pattern called as the Conservation Fund within the project of funding limit only. So this Conservation Fund will be funded for a period of 6 years after the project tenure is over in 2027. So the sustainability of that will be looked into with this conservation funding, which is given to the communities, and the management and the monitoring of this will be done up to a period of 6 years, and depending upon the activity, the progresses of the community on implementing and conserving it, the funding pattern will be released accordingly. So that will be done through the State Biodiversity Board, and I hope we are finalizing that. And by next year, we want to pilot it. And after the project ends, there will be sort of a exit strategy for the continuation of the project. That is one thing which we are trying on, and we will be implementing it. So this is the livelihood activity that we are taking up. And then this is something which is a flagship program. We are, this is in the, during the bit of the construction, we are coming up with the Morong Experience Center, where the interpretation, biodiversity conservation activities, and then all those lessons concerning biodiversity conservation, traditional ways of how we have been managing it, all will be interpretation and experience center. We are constructing this in Kurma. It is almost complete, and we will be inaugurating this in on the 29th of this month when the KFW mission comes from Germany. So we are expecting a good lessons to be learned through this experience center. And this is one of the flagship program of the project. So those are the activities that we are undertaking. And we just had completed the midterm review where there are a lot of suggestions about the good progresses as well as the way forward also. And I think during the discussion we can further discuss on that, right? So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Subramanian. We'll now go to Tripura. Mr. Prabhu is from Indian Forest Service. Since 2009, he is a 2009 batch. Currently, he is Chief Executive Officer and Project Director of KFW funded project called Climate Resilient Forest Landscape Tripura. The state is also currently having JICA and World Bank funded project in forestry sector. Mr. Prabhu.
Thank you, Dr. Vincent Dalla. Good morning to all members assembled here. Since the theme of this conference is centered upon land-related management issues, my PPT is prepared based on that theme. Before going into this presentation, I want to give brief introduction about the project activities of Indo-German Development Cooperation Agency, that is IGDC, that CRIFLET project. That CRIFLET, that is Climate Resilience of Forest Ecosystems, Biodiversity and Adaptive Capacity of Forest Dependent Communities in Tripura. This is the title of the project of IGDC. Apart from this IGDC CRIFLET project, there are other two major externally aided projects implemented by Tripura Forest Department. One is JICA Scat Farm project. Now it is in the second phase. That is JICA Scat Farm project. The next one is this IGDC CRIFLET project. This is also in second phase. The recent external aided project, that is World Bank sponsored Element project. All these three external aided projects are landscape based projects implemented in Tripura by Tripura Forest Department. Regarding this KFW funded IGDC CRIFLET project, that is Climate Resilience of Forest Ecosystems, Biodiversity and Adaptive Capacity of Forest Dependent Communities in Tripura. This IGDC CRIFLET project, it is in second phase. It is launched in 2020. Came into existence in 2021 onwards. We are in the second phase. In the first phase, till 2018, we had the first phase of IGDC project, which it was a grant. It was implemented in 70 villages in the first phase. Now it is expanded to 129 villages. Again, we are going to include 19 more villages. It is under process. Total 148 villages will be implemented by this IGDC CRIFLET project. Here, 5 major components of this IGDC project. One is landscape development planning. Second one, forest land management. Third one, measures to reduce the adverse impacts of biodiversity. Fourth one, forest product, that is natural resources management, processing and value addition. Fifth one is forest sector strategy. I am not coming to this PPT, just I am giving the overall picture of the IGDC project. These are the 5 components. Under this first forest, that is landscape planning, we have 129, right now we have 129 villages. The planning starts from the Village Development Planning and Implementation Committee, which is that planning implementation, VDPIC in short term we will say. This VDPIC is co-terminus with Village Council of TTADC, that is Tribal Area, Tripura Tribal Areas Autonomous Development Council. That village committee is co-terminus with our planning implementation committee. This project is implemented in 2 districts. Those districts are tribal dominated blocks, that is one Dalai district and one North Tripura, that is 129 villages. The planning starts from the village level, that is Village Development Planning Implementation Committee. From VDPIC, all these VDPs, they will prepare the VDP with the participation of village committee members. All the issues and challenges and their resources are mapped through participatory rural appraisal. And finally, it will be approved by the district level, by the DM and collector. He is the chairman of district governing board for this project. After the approval, this project will start. Then after this VDP, we will be starting the entry point activities. Each village will be given 5 lakhs as entry point activities. After this entry point activities, we will be starting the land interventions, that is for plantation activities, both artificial regeneration, assisted natural regeneration with help of bamboo and other miscellaneous species. Apart from this plantation, then another aspect is the agroforestry. In Tripura, around 1,32,000 hectare is given as Patta, RFR Patta under Forest Rights Act 2006. As per the FRA Act, 1,32,000 hectare is distributed as Patta for 1,83,000 families. So this forest lands is almost around 30% of forest land is already given as Patta to the tribal communities. For them, for develop their RFR Patta lands, through these projects, we are promoting agroforestry. Agroforestry in the sense we are giving 4-tier agroforestry system. That is in the ground level, we are giving ginger, turmeric, pineapple, banana, mango, agar, bamboo. These are the 4-tier plantations, agroforestry models we are promoting among the RFR beneficiaries for the tribal communities. This is also part of our plantation activities under this IGDC project. Apart from this, we are doing soil and moisture conservation measures through constructing check dam. As per the landscape planning which they have developed, we have located the check dams. We are protecting the spring by spring regeneration, and also we are doing gully plugging, contour trenches. These are the soil and water conservation measures. Already there are provisions as per the VDP, approved VDP. We are citing, we are locating the sites and we are promoting the soil and water conservation measures. Apart from this, to focus on biodiversity, where all the biodiversity rich areas we are identifying, community-based conservation areas, community-based biodiversity conservation areas with the involvement of local VDPAC as well as the biodiversity management committee. Each and every village under the National Biodiversity Act, we constituted biodiversity management committee in all these villages. Already it is done through Tripura Biodiversity Board. In convergence with this biodiversity management committee, we are developing this biodiversity management plan for this CBCA area, community-based conservation area. One management plan already we are preparing to protect this biodiversity. Already 4 sites we have identified. Now the field visit is going on to prepare the management plan. Apart from this, we are also promoting ecological and biology, that is ecological corridors. Also we are to connect the two landscapes, connecting the two landscapes. This ecological corridor management plan also being prepared under this IGDC. Then for the livelihood, to improve the livelihood among the groups, here there is a provision for each and every village. We will be giving 10 lakhs for as a livelihood component. Each and every village will be given 10 lakhs as a livelihood component. This 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs will be given for 5 lakhs will be given for the self-help groups, and another 5 lakhs will be given for the VDPIC. That is for as a livelihood component. Apart from this, there is a provision for farm and forest product centers to collect the resources from the forest, naturally available resources, and making value addition, and we are connecting with the industries. For example, the bamboos, already those are raised under first phase. All those areas are already, it is earmarked, and it is now we are locating the farm and forest product centers. These bamboos are being collected, and it is subjected to cutting and slicing as per the industrial requirement. And these groups, VDPIC and JFMC members, they are supplying to the industries. These 3 locations already it is identified and started functioning. Apart from this bamboo, we are also focusing for bone gas as well as for gandaki and other anti-feed products are in pipeline. These are regarding the livelihood component. Let me come to the land-based issues. Regarding Tripura, 78% of the state geographical area is governed by TKADC, that is Tribal Area, Tripura Tribal Area Autonomous District Council. Here the land tenure system is it is controlled by multiple organizations and rules and regulations. For example, the reserve forest area is governed by Forest Department through its rules and laws under the state government. The actual land area under the TTADC area is done through 6th schedule provisions of TTADC. Then there is a state governed Tripura Land Revenue and Land Reforms Act and rules. Then everyone of you know about the Forest Rights Act. Tripura already issued 1,32,000 hectare titles for 1,83,000 families. These are the land related, and it's so complicated also, but we are trying to balance all the layers, and this project at the intersection of climate resilience, community governance, as well as the socio-ecological transitions also. So the Clifton project have to manage all these aspects. Regarding the land, forest land, it is governed by Joint Forest Management Committee, which is a statutory body. Then apart from this forest land, outside area is governed by BDPIC, that is Village Development Planning and Implementation Committee, which is co-organized with village community. And under this project, we have clearly demarcated the Zoom land, the Pata land, that is RFR Pata land, and the tribal land and the government land under this IGDC project. And whatever any conflict arises related to the land, there is a Gram Sabha, village committee is there, sub-divisional committee is there, district level committee is there. Within this mechanism, it will be settled. Regarding the customary governance, regarding our village level, already our customary laws are already in picture, already it is a part of the village community. The village local leaders also, they are already the part of VDPAC. So whatever the issues related to land, it will be settled among themselves. If anything, it may be elevated to the sub-division or the district level. Then regarding the traditional knowledge, because already the Zoom is the part of the tradition, whatever the Zoom species or specific crops, we are trying to incorporate in our agroforestry models also. So there should not be any conflict in between our agroforestry models as well as their Zoom cycle also, it should not be disturbed. Such a compromise also being done through the intervention of IGDC. Though there is a governance issue in the local level, but we are trying to overcome through negotiation and the consultation. From the degradation to restoration, already I informed, there are so much of interventions to improve the land status from degradation to restoration by various plantation activities, that is assisted natural regeneration, artificial regeneration, bamboo stabilization, and corridor restoration. As well as to maintain the ecological balance, we are doing check dam, spring rejuvenation, and also water management and ecosystem stability also under these provisions of IGDC. Already I discussed, there are provisions for livelihood opportunities through NTFP value addition and processing and agroforestry. Then regarding strengthening the climate resilience and resource management, this project has already, this VDP, Village Development Plan, is prepared based on the restoration opportunities assessment methodology by the participation of village communities. They have mapped their resources, they mapped their challenges, they mapped their needs and demands. Everything it is well displayed in our VDP through various capacity building programs. Already it is reflected in the VDP. And as per the VDP, we are taking this climate resilience measures under the IGDC projects, including catchment protection, water harvesting, and spring river enhanced water availability for communities. Regarding the inclusive development and local ownership, VDPAC, that Community Resource Management Committee, then there are revolving fund management committee is there, then there are all these committees, minimum 50% of members are from women group. Also we are covering landless households, unemployed youths, poorest of the poor, project affected persons. These are very much, they are mandatory to be included in all those committees. So there is no question of inclusive development. Always it is mandatory, that inclusive development is mandatory as a part of our IGDC CRIFLET project. Regarding the institutional learning and policy relevance, as per the planning, where this land tenure, it is already governed through, that is through diverse land categories. It is in a smart way, it is managed at the ground level. And also we are trying for convergence with Tripura Rural Livelihood Mission under NGNREGA, Northeast Rural Livelihood Program with Agriculture Department, Horticulture Department and Disaster Management. And as a part of forest sector strategy strengthening, there is a plan under this project to make a forest strategy for next 20 years. That is also in pipeline. And regarding the sustainability and the capacity building, it is very much part of the IGDC project. Regarding the challenges, we work across multi-layered land control system in the state. But another thing, lack of continuity in the implementation of external aided project. We are in the second phase, but though we are covering those 70 villages of the first phase, but there is a lack of continuity in the upgradation of the community or the continuity of the activities, those done in the first phase. There is a gap. It should be that sustainability of the community should be in mind while formulating the project policy and its interventions. Also, there need greater convergence among the existing schemes or the projects, especially the externally aided projects in Tripura as well as in the northeastern states. There is a challenge because we are looking for alternative livelihood for the self-help groups, but always it shows good progress only in the farm-based activities, but non-farm-based activities there is no much progress. Farm-based, why it is? Because farm-based mainly piggery, fishery, poultry or agri or horticulture based, it is showing good progress because it is a part of their culture and tradition. But if you are going for non-farm, there arises so many questions in market linkage, value addition and its market linkage. We are always facing the problem. To scale up those things, we need convergence with Industries Department or Rural Livelihood Mission. This kind of convergence, it should be in place. There always still lies a gap. Then still there is a conflict with customary June cultivations followed by commercial crops. Now we are always, the beneficiaries are lucrative towards rubber, oil palm, arecanut. How much area is being occupied? Because those are implemented by different departments in the state. At what level? What is the coverage they are doing? Where is the limit? There is no consensus or there is no proper mechanism in the state or in the national level also to have some control over how much area is being planted. There is no such mechanism. It should be monitored properly to prevent the further deterioration towards the climate as well as the ecology as well as the economic opportunities for the communities. Then very important thing is demarcation issues related to RFR Patta. As far as the Tripura condition is there, 1,32,000, yes I am finishing, just this is the last word. 1,32,000 hectare, it is given as a Patta, RFR Patta. Here there is a conflict. Paper is showing somewhere the location, actual location is somewhere. Neither the tribal community is being benefited by this, because each whatever his actual possession is illegal as per the record in point of view of Forest Department. Forest Department also could not do the eviction. In our point, we are seeing as an encroachment. He is saying this is my land as per the record. There is a mismatching in demarcation. The actual demarcation in the field not yet happening. It should be kept in mind while formulating the external urban projects. Thanks for the conference team for giving this opportunity. On behalf of the Forest Department and IGSTC team, I thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, the esteemed panelists, and of course the learned audience. Unfortunately, the organizers are signaling that we have no more time, and therefore there will be no question and answer exchange system. But each of you have seen the learned and esteemed panelists, and individually, should you require any other clarification, please have a conversation with each one of them. However, just to conclude, we have seen, a number of externally aided projects in the Northeast. In the larger context, all of these are linked to India's overall policies of greening India, climate change adaptation to the Himalayas, and also our target of achieving SDG by 2030 and carbon neutral economy by 2070. And of course, this is expected to contribute to the overall Look East, Act East policy of the Government of India. What we have seen today, hearing from these learned panelists, that the community institutions have been remarkably strengthened across the northeastern states. There have been advances in sustainable land and forest management system. Growing bamboo and green economy is one of the opportunities that can be harvested, and biodiversity conservation and climate projects are good examples of initiatives that have taken place. But we continue to be challenged with certain gaps and otherwise, for example, fragmented project landscape. None of this project is able to touch all the state, or rather within the state, all the villages. So these are some of the challenges of fragmented project landscape. Tenure complexity remains quite a challenge for us, especially the customary governance. Limited post-project sustainability, although we have very good initiatives from Nagaland, but scaling up of good, initiatives by state government also remains limited. Payment for ecosystem services, which has a great opportunity, remains quite inadequate. Just in the initial stage in Meghalaya and Tripura at the moment, climate risk is outpacing the investment that is needed. Now, what is happening is there is a discussion to have a multi-state landscape mission across the Northeast, especially relating to bamboo and green enterprise mission, Eastern Himalaya Biodiversity and Wildlife Corridor mission, Northeast India Watershed and River Basin Resilience mission, and Climate Resilient Hill Agriculture and Sustainable Land Management missions. These are based on project learning across the externally aided projects, and that is what we expect that in the next few years this will be coming up, and World Bank and also KFW is already thinking of designing multi-state project for the Northeast, and hopefully some of these will be taken up very soon. Once again, thank you esteemed panelists, and of course thank you the learned audience. Thank you.
We have slightly overshot our